I hope you got the volume up on this thing up there. This thing's just going, 2-3 seconds or so. And so far I don't see anyone online.
Oh, we're going? I'm just standing here like an idiot.
Happy number 71 to us.
We're on. You don't know.
It's live.
It takes a minute sometimes. That's what I like about the Be Live, you guys, because when I use the other technology, you're there before me.
And what did they say? Do we know if anyone's seeing what we're reading?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay. So this is episode 71, and we're going to eat some good stuff today. At least I'm hungry.
I can't believe it. That's right. So.
And it's going to start in 10 seconds.
Wait, so we have gone or we haven't?
Yeah, 14, but I don't see any.
We don't know yet if people can see.
Speak to me.
That's the thing that I love about Be Live. They're there before I get there, and they're saying hello. But there is a little bit of a delay, so I will just wait patiently till somebody says, "See ya, hear ya."
Yeah. Oh, there we are. Let's see.
Okay.
Do I hear you?
Can't you hear me on your own phone?
I have to turn.
Yes. Oh, good. So all that wasted time. All the time. All the wasted time. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 71 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, the creator of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and this is where I answer your questions about healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. Today, I'll be making not one, not two, not three, but 4 recipes, all based on questions you wrote me this week. So let's get started because Kenny is hungry. So the first recipe I'm going to make, because so many people wrote me on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook because I posted a picture of something that I ate just impromptu on Sunday. I'm calling it the JSP Sunday. It was the most delicious dessert I ever ate, made out of Japanese sweet potatoes and macerated berries. And people kept saying, well, how do you macerate berries? Don't you have to use sugar? No, guys, there's a thing on your phone called Google, and you can actually look words up. All macerate means is to soften by using liquid. So you can macerate berries in water. You can macerate them in liquid. You can macerate them in anything. I'm going to show you how I macerate. And you don't even have to macerate, but macerating makes it just all gooey and sweet and yummy. We had the Ultimate Weight Loss Program launch the live version on Saturday night, where the participants come to my home for meals and education and exercise. And so for dessert, I serve them macerated berries. I'm making a much smaller version because I don't have to serve 20 people. I just have to serve Kenny. So in this little container, I have an equal amount of my 3 favorite berries. Kenny, I bought these at your favorite farmer's market yesterday. So I have blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries, equal amounts, and also equal amounts of strawberries right here, which I didn't cut up because I want to show you a really cool way to cut them up. Now, when we serve these to the people in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, we probably had 16 pounds of berries, and I still only used 1 orange as my liquid. That's it, 1 orange. That's all you need. You don't need very much liquid to macerate. So I want to show you how I like to cut my berries. I'm back in my hand brace for at least another 4 to 6 weeks. So anytime I can find a tool that will help me, because I'm really not supposed to use this hand, but it's hard when you're a chef and you're not yet left-handed. Now, Kenny said, are you going to use the green? I'm not going to use the green, but I'll save it. You can throw this in a smoothie. I've seen Dr. Greger eat this top of it. So I'm just going to put these aside for right now. And I have this cool little tool that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond that's actually a banana slicer, but it works so good on berries, and I'm going to show you how I use it in a second. I'm just going to cut these in half to make them a little bit smaller because they're a little bit bigger than sometimes berries are. If you ever get a chance to buy berries from like the Ojai area or the Ventura County area, I don't know what it is, but they have the best berries there I've ever had.
So the strawberries come from? So
I'm going to take this little tool. I don't know what it's called. I guess it's a banana slicer. And I'm just going to put my berries, oops, stuck that in. I'm just going to put it in. And then I just kind of squeeze, and guess what? Boom. Nice, perfect slices every time. And this works. It's actually, I don't think it's really meant for this because I'm actually kind of having to push kind of hard. But when you do this with a banana, it's really, really easy. So I'm just putting these in. And
you're starting the first half of macerating, right?
Right. Now, the truth is, guys, is just, oops, it's getting it all over the place. Just by having the berries cut like this, it starts to ooze out liquid. So you could actually macerate with that. You just won't have as much liquid. By the way, I want to thank Linda Middlesworth for my t-shirt. It's in my favorite color. It says vegan, and I love it. She got it for me for my birthday. And thank you all for your wonderful anniversary wishes. If you watched my live stream from Follow Your Heart the other night. We actually have a question about that, which hopefully we'll get to, but we've got a lot of questions, and I want to get to the recipes
Diane was asking
first.
you this copper pan here. Is
Yeah.
that something she's been seeing in the stores? Is that one of those new
Yeah,
fancy
it's just,
pans?
it's non-stick, and I'm not afraid to use non-stick, and it's so much easier for cleanup. We're going to use that to make the lasagna. If you don't want to use that, I think these are called Copper Chef. You can certainly use a stainless steel pan.
Pandera. Diane.
Yeah, yep, and
There it
so
goes.
shade of you. There we go.
Angela
so
says okay.
There we go. So actually, just cutting the berry like I just did, well, that's going to start the maceration process. But I like to have a little more flavor. Now, ideally, I would like some fresh mint in here. I forgot it. Oh well. But actually, yours will have the mint in it because Kenny, yours are already macerated. So now I'm going to take my liquid, and truthfully, what liquid I use depends on how sweet my fruit is. Would you say that fruit was pretty sweet?
I only had a blue
Was it
blackberry.
sweet?
It's good. It's perfect.
Okay, good. So if it's sweet, then all I need is a couple tablespoons of lemon or lime juice to get the maceration going. So I'm using my favorite orange, which is the Cara Cara orange or the Cara Cara orange. I also love blood oranges. If you had orange juice or apple juice, you could use that. You could use a little pineapple juice. It really doesn't matter. It's really up to you. And you really don't need very much liquid. You're not going to believe how little you need for maceration. That's probably enough. I'll do one more. So basically I'm using the quarter of an orange because again, this is not very much fruit. But you know what? I'll just use the half because it's already cut up, and then we'll eat the other half for something else. And we're just going to stick this in the fridge, and then in a few hours, I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be better tomorrow, actually. What happens is they start oozing this really delicious kind of thick syrupy liquid, and then all the berries get nice and soft. So this is how we like them, and these are great over banana ice cream, by the way. So I'm just going to put it in this. I'm just going to give it a little shake, and I'm going to stick this in the fridge, and then we can enjoy this later. But this is how Kenny is going to enjoy it right now. Actually, let me just move this over here for now. All right. So here's how you make the most delicious sundae you've ever tasted. You take a cooked Japanese sweet potato, and I like to chill it first because then it really tastes like ice cream when it's chilled. And then we are going to cut it in half. And again, just going to flatten it out a little bit so there's more surface area. So Kenny has more of the yumminess. And then we take our berries and we just pour them. Oh God, and it's really like having a sundae. Better than a sundae. It's a fruit sundae. And so, now yours will have mint, Kenny. Now I know I've kind of covered up the sweet potato. You can't really see it. I maybe either use too small of a sweet potato or use too much fruit. But that's it. And now Kenny can chow down while I make the next 3 recipes.
All
First,
right.
You can taste it in front of the camera if you want.
Okay,
and see
I'm
if
coming
people
over
like
here.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
It may not be in the right exact place.
Wait, face them though. Don't show them don't ever show people your backside. Be careful. I should have given you a bigger plate. You want a bigger plate? I can change it now.
That's okay. We're gonna
But the
be quick.
combination of the creamy Japanese sweet potato and the sweet fruit, this is heaven, you guys. You don't ever need the birthday cake. This is birthday cake. So there you have it. The JSP sundae. Good, right?
Yes, yes.
It's delicious.
I guess I'm not going to answer questions now because I got to eat this.
To compensate for your little relapse that you admitted to me, or should I say your little slip. Okay.
What?
All right. So next. Alrighty. So that was the first question. So the first question was how do you make it? That's how you make it. So the next question came from Cheryl, not our mutual friend Cheryl, somebody else named Cheryl. I don't want our friend Cheryl to think this is her because she didn't ask this question. So Cheryl basically said that she's doing really good staying away from sugar and flour herself, but that every time her husband makes toast, she goes crazy because of the smell, and then he eats it, and then the crunch. And so, of course, you know what I'm going to say. You got to get that out of the environment. You got to have your husband either eat his toast outside of the house or get a little, room for him, the basement or whatever, where little
Man
shop. Yeah, man cave where he can make his toast so the smell doesn't affect you, because I'm telling you, visual cues, auditory cues, olfactory cues, that can send people into a slip, a binge, or a relapse. But the question wasn't what to do about the environment, because nobody ever listens to me anyway when I tell them to clean up the environment or the importance of the environment. The question was, is she misses toast. She misses the crunch. She misses the texture. what do you do? Can I make a compliant toast? And the answer is yes, because I actually have a recipe that I call toast. And for this recipe, you will need an air fryer. So I'm using the QVC Cooks Essential that was my birthday present about a year ago. It's the smaller one. It's only 5.2 quarts or 5.3 quarts, so it only fits about 2 potatoes in it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat it. And then while it's preheating, what I'm going to do is get my bread. Now, this obviously isn't bread. This is the Hannah yam. And it really does not work. I know I feel so bad for you people that don't live in California or cities big enough to have, you know, the kind of produce we have here. Often you can find these at ethnic markets like Asian or Latino markets. So these are way different.
Order them online?
You can order them online. You can order everything online. You can order Japanese sweet potatoes online, Stokes online, Hawaiian. But for the toast and for my recipes like the Millo's muffins and for my burgers, these are the best ones because the orange ones, in my opinion, do not have very much flavor. They're great for fries. They're great for mashed yams at Thanksgiving, but I would not eat an orange sweet potato unless there was nothing else to eat. So these are the Hannah, the best ones for my recipes. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. The little sound you hear is probably because I cooked fries the other day. And then we're going to flatten it as flat as we can. If you like these broadcasts, please consider sharing them with your groups and friends. And also please consider signing up to be on my mailing list at eatonprocess.com, where you can get updates about when my new book is coming out, so you can get the bonuses, which is really soon. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I put these broadcasts within 24 hours.
Now, when you say really soon, what does that mean?
It could be this weekend. They fixed the mistake last night, but then it takes some time to get the proof, so I don't know. And if I knew, I would tell you. I'm not trying to be withholding. So what I want to do is I want to flatten this as thin as I can without it breaking, using my hand or this spatula, and this is going to take up pretty much the whole room. Now you can do this in the Breville. I can't use the Breville and the QVC one at the same time because in my apartment it will blow a fuse, but I'll be using the Breville a little bit later. So if you're making multiple pieces, you use the Breville. So now I've got this nice and flat, and I'm just waiting for the oven to preheat, and then I will be moving on to the next recipe. See, I've got all my nice potatoes here.
How do you cook your Hannah yams?
I roast everything in a 450-degree oven, 425, 450, for about 90 minutes. I've got my Hannahs and my JSPs here.
And where would you order them online?
I don't know. You got to Google them. Guys, I'm not Google. I get so many questions, Kenny, that just like, I'm like, really? You just Google this. Amazon, just Google where to buy Hannah yams.
Someone below will tell you.
Yeah,
where.
usually Jen Dyson or somebody will be able to have that resource for you. So we're waiting for the oven to preheat. And then
Melanie Jurison is watching, so now
Melanie Jorensen?
Yeah.
Auntie Mel? Hey Mel, how's Charlie doing? Okay, so we're waiting for this to preheat. The next recipe we're going to do is the Mexican lasagna. Kenny, we got to look up, tell them what page from Unprocessed it's on. It is from, Kenny, Unprocessed is right there. We'll look up what page it's on, and we'll tell you in case you want to follow along.
And the name is what?
Yeah, Mexican lasagna. It's in the entrees, and show them the book. So the reason we're making this recipe is because so many people wrote me about the class I'm teaching next Tuesday at Boulevard's Kitchen asking, get back to that in a sec. That means it's preheated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this in the air fryer. And you can see it takes up almost the whole space. I'm going to put it back in. Now, people say, teach me how to use an air fryer. There's nothing to teach. You push a button. I mean, I can't teach you to do something that simple. You push the button, and the default is always 370 for 15 minutes. I do everything at 400 for 20 minutes. And if it's not done, I do it longer, and that's that. Just like the Instant Pot.
Page 106 of this beautiful book.
So page 106,
Unprocessed.
we're doing Mexican lasagna. And the reason we're doing that is because you have to understand, if you're on my mailing list, you're there because you chose to be. I don't ever add people without their permission. Maybe you heard me speak or something like that. And so when we send things out to the mailing list, they're not just people in California. So we recently sent out that I was teaching this class at Boulevard Kitchen. I teach at a culinary school, hands-on once a month, and it's a Mexican fiesta class. And a lot of people said, I live in Canada, I live here, I can't come, can I get the recipe?
Vacation.
Absolutely, come for a vacation.
It's warm, it's 84 degrees today.
We're going to make one of the recipes that we would be making in class. But you can get all my recipes either in Unprocessed, in my new book that's coming out, hopefully this week, on my webinar page, and then the only other place that you can get recipes are in the bonus book that you get if you buy my new book on the same day. That's my new dessert cookbook. But we're going to make one of my most popular recipes from Unprocessed, certainly the easiest one to make. I created this recipe when I was 16 years old. I had gone to a store called Fedco, which is now not in existence. Costco is similar, but they had this prepared food section with a Mexican lasagna, but it had meats, and I thought, you know what, I can make that vegan. So in my lasagna pan, 9 by 13, or if you can get an 11 by 14, even better, I've got my layer of salsa, which is pico de gallo, which I've already showed you how to make several times in the Tupperware Pro Chef. You know, I figured out that this pico de gallo, if I bought it at Trader Joe's, the amount that I would need for this recipe is $18. And so why pay $18 for something that just costs a couple of dollars to make fresh at home, that is organic, that has no salt, that actually tastes better? So I'm going to actually cook this in the Breville as soon as this is done, because I don't want to turn my oven on, because what is it, Kenny, like 96 today?
It's 84 outside.
Well, it feels hotter so in this
Yes.
apartment. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a layer of gluten-free rice noodles. If you do not eat this because you're following UWL or for whatever reason, another alternative would just be use corn tortillas. It tastes absolutely delicious.
Or zucchini slice.
Right, or zucchini. So there's 3 options. You can either use the lasagna noodles, you can use corn tortillas, or you can use very thinly sliced zucchini on a mandolin, either putting it in raw or roasting it a little bit first. So you just want to put these in to fit. And the thing is, the good news is they break. The thing about when using the no-boil noodles, everything I do is always gluten-free. But when you use a no-boil noodle, it just has to be wet on the bottom. So if it was an Italian lasagna, you'd have the sauce. But you can't expect these to cook if they're not wet. So when they don't fit, I just break them and I make them fit. And then to make it fit perfectly, I can just break up this noodle and it will fit. Ooh, the sweet potatoes starting to smell so good, you guys. So there's my first layer. There we go. So now, what I do is I have 6 cups of refried beans. I usually just cook pinto beans in the Instant Pot, and then I let them cool, and then I puree them in the food processor like I was making hummus. If you wanted to use canned beans, you can't get any that are salt-free, but all the companies, you can get pretty much oil-free refried beans in BPA-free cans, low sodium, but not completely salt-free unless you make your own. So we're doing that, and then to that we're going to add the corn. I am using the fire-roasted corn because I like it. It's from Whole Foods. It's organic. There we go. I'm going to mix it in. I may use another bag, depending.
Doesn't your favorite store also have roasted corn too?
What do you mean?
Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's does sell roasted corn. It is not organic, but it is supposedly GMO-free. But Whole Foods has it organic. So need a little bit more. Put another bag in. There we go. And it's amazing. This is actually, the truth is you can get the ingredients for this recipe anywhere I've ever been in the whole United States.
So someone wants to know, do you eat noodles? And I know the truth is you don't, but she has some dinner guests coming in tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
Daryl
this is
and
for
Norma,
them.
who are actually Star McDougalers, are coming for dinner tomorrow, so I like to make it in advance because things always taste better the next day. I would eat this noodle. I mean, the problem is I can't eat beans. That's why I wouldn't eat this. I would eat a noodle. I mean, I wouldn't eat it all the time, you know, but I prefer, if I'm going to eat noodles, to eat kelp noodles. They're really crunchy and delicious. So yeah, it's but for the most part, no, I don't. For the most part, I just eat whole food. Okay, so now I'm going to put this, layer this on top.
Second layer.
Yep. Oh, smells good already. So easy. I mean, kids could make this recipe. And the thing is kids like this recipe, you know? I mean, what's not to like? Beans and corn? My goodness. So.
Oh, BJ got me.
BJ?
I talked to my mouth full.
Well, that's all right.
Sorry.
You gotta feed the help, you guys.
This is so good. It's hard
I
not
know,
to-
isn't it amazing? Eden and Kenny work for free, so we gotta at least feed them now.
I'm not.
All right,
This is
so
paid.
there we go. There's one layer, almost done. Okay, so now we're gonna put another layer of the noodles. And again, you know, the truth is we're not using that many noodles. I mean, this will feed, gosh, like depending on how much you eat, 6 to 12 people. They're all getting not even one noodle when you think about it. I'm using not even 12 noodles on this whole
Colleen
thing.
Dunbar asks, how spicy do you make your salsa?
Oh, I don't. I use about a half a jalapeno. I don't make it spicy at all because Charles doesn't like spicy food. So I actually make it very mild. All right, so there we go. And you just break it. Break it till you make it. And now, one more layer on top.
Layer 4.
Okay, very easy, you guys. I mean, this doesn't take any time at all to make. And like I said, everything except for the lasagna noodles can be found at Trader Joe's or Ralph's or Kroger's. And like I said, you could also use the tortillas. I've done it with the tortillas. It's fantastic. And it's also good with zucchini. So now we just spread it over the top. I need a bigger lasagna pan, don't I? That's what I like. I like the 11 by 14 better than the 9 by 13. But we're going to make it work. Oh, this looks so good. I'm going to bake it tonight. Charles will have a piece for dinner tonight, and then we'll serve it tomorrow to our company because it will actually taste better tomorrow. So I will have to open another box of noodles, but I won't be using the whole box. Just make it fit.
So, Chef Bryn asks, what do you add in place of salt or salsa?
Well, I have 70 episodes of this show where I pretty much answered that question. And you really want me to answer it again? You must be new, huh?
I've never heard of Chef Bryn.
So, I'm not ignoring you, but I can only focus on one thing at a time. There's many things you can add, and we talk about it really all the time on this show. I don't remember which episode where I showed every single salt-free seasoning that I have, and you know, the answer is just, it's a really, really long answer.
Janet Miller wants to know how many servings. And I'm going to say a lot.
I would say a minimum of 8. Minimum of 8. Depends, you know, if you eat like me, maybe 6. If you eat like a regular person, maybe 12. But I would say 8 is safe to say. Okay.
Betty Ann, there's no time to binge. No.
Okay, so there we go. All right, so now we've got that. And so then the last layer is going to be the rest of my homemade pico de gallo, which, by the way, this recipe is also in Unprocessed. You can tell them what page you want to be if you can look that up.
What section is that in?
It's in the, I think, sides. So look at that. Look at this delicious, delicious lasagna. And we are going to heat that up as soon as the toast is out of the air fryer. And remember, you always want to cover that noodle, guys. If you don't cover the noodle with sauce, it will not cook without... that's what I love about the no-boil noodles, is because who has time to boil their noodles, right? Nobody.
Never.
Okay, so there we go. And then when it comes out, what I like to do is put on the pea guacamole, the sweet pea guacamole from the book Unprocessed. And that's that. Okay, so there we have it. In no time at all, our delicious lasagna.
Pico de gallo's on page 149 of this great book.
Perfect. Thank you, Ken. Okay, so now, let's see. How many recipes have we done? Oh, 3. And what I want to show you is people ask me all the time where to get purslane. In California, you get it at the Latino market, Super King, Vallarta. Let me show you what it looks like. It's usually 4 for $1, but the price went up. It was 3 for $1. This is what it.
What is that?
Falling on the ground. This is purslane. You can taste it if you want.
Wow, no.
Highest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids. I tear off the leaves. I pull it in my salad. You can steam it. I like it best raw. And haven't eaten nuts in 6 years. Get my levels tested every year. They're not only normal, they're high, and this is why. So just wanted to show you what that looked like. All right, so we're cooking with gas here. All righty. So Brooke.
Just figuratively. No gas at all.
Well, actually, it's electric. You're right. So Brooke, this is kind of a fun little thing. So Brooke wrote me and said that she has to make brownies for a school function for her kid. She said it's a really long story. She didn't want to get into it unless she had to. She promised she'll never get into that situation or commit to something like that again because she knows if she buys sugar and flour, she's going to binge on it, blah, blah, blah. So can I help her out of this jam to make them? She goes, it doesn't matter. Oh, sorry, not brownies, donuts. What am I saying? That was another question. She's got to make donuts or bring donuts. That was it. She said that was a different question, different person. Brooke has got to bring donuts to a function at her school, at her kid's school, and it's not negotiable at this point. She can't get out of it. So what does she do? Because where she lives, she knows there's vegan donuts in parts of big cities, they don't have them, and donuts are crap, sugar, oil, flour, and salt. Do I have an alternative? Yes, ma'am, I do. And this is from page
My
160.
favorite show ever is right here.
Really, from page 160 of Unprocessed. But what you're going to need is this little tool. You can get it on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you know they deliver the same day or next day. So you have these little silicone molds that are donut. This looks like a little boob, doesn't it?
Whoa,
Wait,
TMI.
there you go. Look at that.
It's a little X-rated now.
All right,
Come on.
so you got these little donut things,
Child
and that's
friendly.
what we're going to use. Now, I'm going to give you 3 ideas for how to make donuts out of these. One is to use my recipe for cram muffins, which you can get on my webinar page. They would make a little carrot cake donut. They'd be absolutely amazing, and we could even show you how to frost them to look exactly like donuts, a little bit of a glaze. You could take my newer recipe for the cinnamon buns that are good for your buns. That comes with a frosting. That's also on my webinar page. But, oh, good for your buns, I get it. But I'm going to do a recipe from Unprocessed because pretty soon my new book will be out and then Unprocessed might be forgotten. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the brownie or brawny recipe on page 160. But we're going to do it a little bit cute to make it decorated. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all take some coconut, and you can actually get light coconut that's been pretty much defatted. And I'm going to just sprinkle it on the bottom of this because then when the donut comes out, it's going to look like it's got sprinkles on top. Because I'm sure you've seen donuts with sprinkles, or they do sell vegan sprinkles, but they're very high in sugar. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of coconut on each circle of the donut. The reason I said brownies is because I was thinking the recipe I'm using is for brownies. But again, like I would do probably the cram muffins is what I will. You know, the truth is if you did the cinnamon bun recipe even without the frosting, that would taste like a plain donut. So that would also be a really good choice. Okay, so there, I've got my little topping sprinkled there. So now what I'm going to do is take my food processor. And again, when you're doing this, I'm making the smallest denominator so that there's not any leftovers. So I've got my walnuts, which I think if you're going to eat nuts, probably the best.
Again,
nut
if you're in
to eat.
UWL, this is not part of the UWL.
Yes, it's not for you, but if a UWL member said they were going to go off the rails and eat real stuff, I'd much rather have them eat one of my desserts from Unprocessed than eat a sugar flour dessert. So we're just going to process that. Processing it into a flour-like consistency. We're going to add our raw cacao powder.
Oh, wow.
That stuff smells amazing. I still like the smell of it, Sharon McRae. Sharon McRae goes, how can you like that stuff? It's so gross. When we went to Universal, and I'm like, hey, you weren't a sugar addict for 43 years. I still think it's good looking, and I would eat it if I could, but I can't. So, you know, no worries. Just going to process it again. I'm going to add my dates, so the nuts are the flour, the sugar is the dates are the sugar and the glue. The dates I'm using today are from I Love Date Lady. If you want to see
Did you guys see the Date Lady?
Great interview with Colleen today. You should use a discount code. These are like some of the most delicious organic dates and kosher you'll ever taste.
What was Colleen's last name?
Sundlie, S-U-N-D-L-I-E. Yes, nice lady, nice lady.
I asked if she had any suggestions for a date.
Penny needs a date, you guys.
So fast.
It's really all right. I gotta take this off or it's gonna ruin it. I hope my occupational therapist isn't watching because she's mad that I've been using my hands. So now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna press this into the area.
She's right-handed. What are you gonna do?
I know. That's the problem is I can't flat iron my hair left-handed, and that's the thing. So
yes, the Date Lady did leave a promo code 15% off using the word Chef AJ.
Nice. Always try my name, Chef AJ. You know the worst that can happen
Thank you, Susan Graham.
is you don't get the discount. Then they'll go, who's this Chef AJ? And then maybe they will give you a discount. So I'm just going to press it in. And then I'm going to stick it in the freezer, and when it sets up, I'll show you at the end of the show what it looks like.
Can you bake it or no? It's still
No,
just
no, you don't want to bake a raw fruit dessert. No, no, no. You could dehydrate it, I guess, if you wanted it warm, but I wouldn't bake it. No, no, no.
Okay.
Okay, so look at that.
Well,
I
the
mean, my
crispiness of the
gosh,
donut's
it
not
hasn't
there.
even been 30 minutes, and I've completely done 3 recipes. So, you
But
know.
we're not doing just 3. We're doing
4. This is the 4th. I did the sweet potato sundae, the sweet potato toast, the lasagna, and now the donuts.
and the pico. Well, we
And the
didn't really
pico
show
de
the
gallo. Well, I did
pico.
the pico de gallo before. I'll show it again on the air. And again, I wasn't being dismissive of the salt question. We do have a salt question coming up later, so I just do want to go from, you know. Okay, so this only made 4, so if I needed more, I could do more. But I was trying to just get away with a half a recipe from unprocessed. There we go. So really, really easy. Okay, and I'll just take that little bit of coconut fat that we didn't use and save it for another day. Kenny was kind enough to clean my counter. So now I'm going to ask Kenny to stick these in the freezer, and then
do that.
we'll get going. All right. Wash my hands so they won't be sticky. All right, I'm going to check on my toast. Oh, wow. Look at that. It's almost ready. Let me get this out.
Oh, there's muffins in here.
Oh my God. I'm going to let it go a little longer, guys, because I really like it crispy. But this is, this is so crunchy. This is the texture of toast. So you know what? I'd like it a little bit longer, but it's so noisy. You can get the idea. Do you want a bite of this, Kenny?
I'll try to think
Here,
about it.
let me get a little.
I got a little
bite.
syrup left in my
Oh,
sundae.
you dip it. So tell the people if this really tastes like toast.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the crunchy piece on the end, and then come in front of the camera to see if it tastes like toast.
I'm gonna dip
Maybe
it
French
in
toast.
the leftovers of my.
If you want the whole thing, you can have the whole thing. How is it?
Wow.
It's good, right?
Uh-huh.
It's not super sweet. It's just like yummy, isn't it?
Realize though, AJ likes a little burnt on the side, so
But we don't have to burn it.
We don't
I
have
like
to burn on the
everything
sides.
burnt. Okay. I'm
The
going to not
caramelized
cook
are not
this
for me.
anymore. Do you want the whole piece? Do you want it?
I'll have a little more.
Okay. Well, why don't you take the whole thing? Here you go. I know the recipe. I can make the other half.
oh my
But
god.
I call this toast, and it's amazing. So there you go. All right. Now, time to put the lasagna in the oven. I don't know if you can get the shot over here, Kenny. I'm going to use the Breville now. So the Breville's
Coming over
a
to the
little
Breville.
bit bigger, and same idea. Take out my air frying tray that I used this morning for zucchini. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the bake setting. And I'm going to put it at, it's supposed to bake at 400. This way my whole apartment doesn't heat up. It bakes for about 30 minutes, but first I'm going to preheat it. That's the thing, I've got to start.
But if you're in that neighborhood that's really cold, you may want to use your oven.
Yeah, but right now we're not. Okay, so let's get to the questions. Well, I can stand over there if you'd rather. Or stand right here. Stand, where would you like me to go?
Right there.
So once this beeps, I'll put it in. Okay, so Angela says that she has a sweet taste in her mouth. What could it be? She's following UWL.
I think it's
again-
sweet potato.
No, so I'm not a doctor, and I would never try to give medical advice, but I want to recommend that you see a doctor, because when I Googled it, there was a lot of things that came up that could be medical conditions, some of them very serious, like diabetes, some of them less serious, so I would really encourage you. Some of the things were that they said that sometimes if you somehow your olfactory system, like let's say you can't smell as good because of a cold or whatever, it could affect you by having a sweet taste in your mouth. That was one that wasn't serious, but some of them were really serious, so I'm going to really encourage you to see your doctor about this. And if you don't have a plant-based doctor, they do consults for less than $100. All the medical doctors and naturopaths at True North. The website is healthpromoting.com. I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Goldhammer again, but not until April 22nd. I could ask him that, but again, I would not wait on something that could be possibly serious. So please see your doctor. But I'd rather have a sweet taste in my mouth than a salty taste in my mouth, wouldn't you? I mean, but I'm not making light of that, so please do that. Okay. Nikki wants to know, that's Nikki the rock star with the awesome haircut. What besides dates can I use to sweeten yummy sauce? Because she doesn't want to have the trigger of accidentally eating a few dates like she did. So before I answer the question from a culinary standpoint, what a lot of my students have done is yummy sauce calls for, I believe, 3 dates. And I don't want to say all the stores, but most of the stores like Sprouts and Whole Foods and even some of the regular Ralphs have bulk bins. You could literally buy 3 dates. So if you could make it home, you would be able to buy just for the recipe. So I've never tried yummy sauce with any other fruit other than dates. But I know some people have tried it without dates, and they said it was fine. The purpose of dates in any of my recipes, guys, that aren't dessert recipes, and I use very few. I use it in the yummy sauce, 3 dates. I use 3 dates in my marinara, is because it's to balance the acidity from the things that are acidic. So in marinara sauce, it would be to balance the tomatoes. So when in doubt, leave it out. I don't know what fruit, like in a marinara sauce, I could say put in a sweet vegetable like a beet or a carrot. I don't know, because like you certainly wouldn't want to put in a banana, and an apple doesn't seem like it would taste very good. I mean, I wonder if an orange would be okay. You know, I don't know, and unfortunately, because it can't have beans anymore, I can't test it. An orange might work, a roasted pear. I would try leaving it out first and see. And again, if you're somebody that can handle having 3 dates in your house from the store to home,
I like just 1 date.
Well, yeah, anybody. Kenny needs a date. Anybody, come on. Any takers? He'll be in Vegas August 31st, September 1st and 2nd, and we will still offer you $100 off. We have extra speakers in addition to Dr. Barnard and Dr. Goldhammer and Dr. Lyle and myself and JP. We've got Sharon McCrae doing a family thing to teach with her whole family. We've got John Pierre doing a men's group, so bring your husbands who don't understand your food addiction, and he'll explain it and how your husbands can support you, and Dr. Rosanna Alviera, who knows the skinny on fat.
Hey, that way we can double the size of this group, just like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you don't have a husband, bring a significant somebody.
Right. Why not? Okay. So, Susan, I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to answer this question. I dropped the ball because it came a while back. Susan wants to know what I think about IgG testing. So she's talking about allergy testing. And so one of the questions I get emailed to me a lot every day from people in Ultimate Weight Loss and not in Ultimate Weight Loss have to do with symptoms that may or may not be related to allergies, specifically food allergies. Sometimes the symptom is bloating, sometimes it's a skin rash. There's a whole host of things that people ask me about. And again, I'm not a doctor. I've gone through a lot of this stuff myself years ago, so I can tell you what I went through and what my opinion is, not my medical opinion, just my personal opinion about this testing. I would start at True North. It's just so much easier because I think they're the only ones that get it. If you can't go to True North and fast, because if you're having issues like this with the bloating and the IBS and the allergies, the best thing you could do is a water fast, because you take everything out of the diet, and if your symptoms improve, well, there's a good chance that what was bothering you was some kind of toxin, either an allergen that you were inhaling in your environment or consuming, and then when they refeed you, they can test for these kind of things, and it's probably the most effective thing to do, and I understand not everybody can do it. I actually think the next most effective thing you could do is you could do it on your own, and it's not that hard, unless you're really a food addict, because then it'll be really hard because you're eating only 2 foods for quite a long time. And Susan had mentioned her doctor wanted her to do it for 12 weeks. By the way, that means that my Breville is preheated, and so now I put my lasagna in, and in 30 minutes we have Mexican lasagna. So it's called Elimination Diet. And to find out more about how to do it, you go to Dr. McDougall's website or just Google Dr. McDougall Elimination Diet. You're basically picking one starch, just one. For me, when I did it for 8.5 months. That was fine because my starch was sweet potatoes, and I ate 5 different kinds, and I ate them all kinds of different ways so I didn't get bored, and my vegetable was zucchini. And very few people really react to sweet potatoes or things like rice and zucchini. You want to look at the foods on his website, and then you do that, and then you add these foods in back one at a time, slowly, keeping a very accurate food journal for symptoms like bloating or things like that. So what do I think about the testing? I had all the testing done. I went to 2 immunologists and a naturopath, and it was really expensive because one of them wasn't even in network. And I had all the skin tests done with just about everything. I had it done twice, with the needle where they prick you and then they look for numbers, I think from 1 to 5, and compare it to the histamine. And then I also had it done with the blood and with the stool. And basically everything was inconclusive. And if I listened to these doctors, then literally I would be eating nothing, because it showed I was basically, I don't want to say allergic, but either sensitive or intolerant to just about everything. And some of the foods that was spot on. I mean, like 2 of them that kept showing up, black pepper and soy, I know I'm allergic to. I've always been allergic to. Dairy as well. Those 3, since I'm little, that didn't change. And those I reacted to very strongly. But a lot of them were like weak, like a 1, like maybe. So unfortunately, this guy passed away, but he was one of the best immunologists at UCLA, and he did a lot of research, and I would have loved to have interviewed him on Healthy Living Live, but he's no longer here unless I can interview him through a psychic medium. And what he said to me was very similar to what I've heard them say at True North, which is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And by that I mean, obviously, if you have an anaphylactic reaction to a food, if you're allergic to peanuts and eating a peanut is going to make you, stop breathing, don't test it. Or if you do test it, make sure you have an EpiPen or you're in the emergency room. But most of these allergies that people have, but many of them, if it's like mild bloating or abdominal discomfort or maybe a very mild skin rash, these are not life-threatening, and the poison is always in the dose. And so what you do is you have to this is what I did, you keep a very, very accurate food journal. You first either go to True North and fast, or you do this elimination diet. How many weeks, I don't know. I believe, Susan, you said your doctor wanted to do it 12 weeks. I did it for 8.5 months. So, because I had to test pretty much every food. And then you introduce small amounts of this food, and I don't think it's every day. I think it's something like every 3 days. Whoa, that's a bright light. And you chart your symptoms. And you don't chart your symptoms just immediately after you eat, but up to 24 hours, because some of these food sensitivities can be delayed. So I think that, I guess in some people these allergy testings can be useful, but I think in a lot of people's cases they just scare them away from eating healthy foods that they're not really allergic and not really intolerant to. I think what happens is nowadays is that we have so many GMOs, people are eating things not organic, and a lot of times it's the pesticides that people are allergic to, not the actual food. And I know that because I've seen people that when they eat GMO soy or GMO corn, they get really sick. They get these symptoms you're talking about, but when they eat organic, they don't. So if you are somebody that's sensitive to any kinds of foods or environmental stuff, for you it's even more important to eat organic. Probably eat more simply, but test this yourself with an elimination diet, or talk to one of the doctors at True North. They can test for leaky gut, things like that. As far as bloating, every day somebody in Ultimate Weight Loss says, I'm bloated. Well, of course you're bloated because you're finally eating fiber. Most people eat 92% of their calories from animal products and processed food, which means that most people's diets have no fiber. And most people come to the Ultimate Weight Loss Program are, quite heavy, and they have not been eating well for a long time. They've been eating a fiberless diet, so, they can't eat 4 to 6 pounds of vegetables a day like me. They can't even eat 1 pound. So anytime we reintroduce fiber, we should do it slowly, a little bit at a time, chew really well. But that is going to make you bloated if you haven't had fiber for all these years because you were doing some crazy, toxic, poisonous, disease-promoting keto diet. The other thing you can do is you can Google gas-producing vegetables, and it'll give you a list from least gas-producing to most gas-producing. So the cruciferous ones, unfortunately, those really healthy ones with all those compounds, like broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage, Brussels sprouts, these are the most gas-producing. But the ones that are actually fruits, like zucchini, bell pepper, tomato, cucumber, okra, and eggplant, these are not gas-producing, guys, at least in most people. So you might want to start there. So good question. That's a long answer. I don't know, what is going to be good for you, but that's why I say go to True North. If you can't go in person, Dr. Goldhammer does free consults, and he will direct you to what to do. Any questions, Kenny, before I go on to the other questions?
Someone was wondering if you ever were told that you have histamine intolerance.
No, I wasn't told that. I was told that I had...
Or mast cell activation.
No, what I was told is that to avoid foods that were high in histamine. This was in the year 2010, which was a good thing because, see, a lot of times things happen to us and go, this is the worst thing in the world, but we look back and it was the best thing. So I was getting migraines, and my insurance company wasn't paying for the medicine, which is called Maxalt. It was like $30 a pill. And it turned out that when I was really honest, I only got a migraine when I ate chocolate, which was like every day, so I was getting chocolate every day. And the immunologist said, I have to avoid foods that are high in histamine. Well, as luck would have it, chocolate is one of the foods highest in histamine. Wine and cheese I didn't have, so the minute I stopped chocolate, I never got another migraine in my life. So that's what I was told is to avoid foods high in histamine. Okay, so Alex, this is a girl named Alex. First of all, cool name for a girl, the way you spell it, Allyx. I love it. She says she's 21 and she switched herself and her dad to a fully vegan lifestyle, and she lost 50 pounds. Congratulations. And her dad lost 75 pounds and got rid of diabetes. Double congratulations. She said that she would like me to give her mom a shout out to motivate her. So she did tell me her mom's name. Oh, God, it's on my email. Oh, my God. Alex's mom. I wrote her back and said, what's your mom's name? Mrs. Alex. Alex's mom. Hopefully you're watching. So I'll give you a shout out. even though I wrote your name down and forgot it, but I won't give you a shout out by your first name, just Alex's mom. I don't know if I can motivate you. You know, I believe it was Zig Ziglar who said that, you know, we need motivation daily. Motivation daily doesn't last or something, or
Like showers.
it's like bathing. We need it every day, something to that effect. I don't think I can motivate you. I don't think I can motivate anyone. I don't think anyone can motivate anyone. I think that I might be able to inspire you. But what I can do if you join the Ultimate Weight Loss Program is I can help you create a lifestyle and a life and
Alex
an
is here.
environment.
Her mom's name is Stephanie.
Stephanie! Hey, Stephanie, Chef AJ in the house, shouting out to you. Follow the road of your daughter and your husband. Look how great they did. Look how great you're going to look and feel when you follow their path. But what I can do, Stephanie, if you join the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, or any of you, is I can teach you how to motivate yourself, how to create a life and a lifestyle and an environment so that you will be motivated to do this. So, but I can't motivate you. I mean, if you want to be inspired, watch my talk on YouTube, From Fat Vegan to Skinny Bitch, but I don't think anybody can motivate anyone. You need to know why you want to do this, and that why is going to be what's going to motivate you. But the fact that you have an awesome daughter, that should be motivation enough, because don't you want to be around to walk her down the aisle? Don't you want to be around to babysit her grandchildren? That's got to be your motivation. You have to find your why, but I'm happy to inspire you. Stephanie, you and Alex join the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, or better yet, come to the conference in September. If I'm able to do any kind of motivation, or anybody is, that conference will do it.
It's
Okay.
amazing.
Thank you.
I recommend it.
All right, so let's see how much time we have. Oh, we're doing pretty good with all these recipes and all these questions. So this is from, I don't know if, see, when it's spelled Leah, I don't know if you say Leah or Leah. So I'm going to say Leah. This question's from Leah. Hi, Chef AJ. Learned about you through Heather Goodwin's YouTube page, The Butterfly Effect. Totally recommend you subscribe to that page. She lost 300 pounds on Ultimate Weight Loss. She is awesome. She says, I love the wealth of knowledge that you share, as well as the interviews you do, and will be forever grateful to Heather for her inspired videos. Us too. I began my plant-based journey in January of 2018. That's only a few months ago, and lost 27 pounds so far. That's pretty good. That's 8 pounds. That's right on target. 2 pounds a week. Excellent. Feeling great. She's been doing intermittent fasting for about 2 months now, narrowing her feeding window about 6 to 7 hours a day. I've heard you say over and over how much you eat in a day. I was curious, when you say you can eat as much as you do, is that all in one sitting? How long does it take you to eat a meal? I know you don't eat until after you exercise or late morning, but once you start eating, do you eat often during your feeding window? Are you eating 2 or 3 distinct meals? Are you pretty much eating constantly during your window? I'm just trying to figure out how to come close to eating what you eat in a day. I've been eating just 2 meals a day with little to no snacking between meals. However, I can only seem to eat about 1/2 pound to 1 pound of potato at a time. Just curious, not necessarily what you eat, because I feel you've explained that various times, but how you eat during the day. Thanks so much, Leah. Okay.
So Stephanie is shocked that she's got this report.
Hey.
And second, Leah is here too.
Hey,
to let us
Leah.
know what's going on.
Yeah, that's good that Leah's here, because because what I need to know, Leah, I'm guessing you're overweight.
She looks really pretty. I like her smile.
Leah?
Yeah.
Nice. So the reason I'm asking, Leah, is because how much you can eat is going to depend. I mean, like, I don't know if you could be short, you could be tall. I don't know. Because obviously, if you're like 4'10" and 95 pounds, you're not going to be able to eat as much as me. And if you're a bigger girl or taller, you're going to be able to eat more, just because you're going to need more calories. You need at least 10 calories per pound of body weight just for your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, to breathe your lungs, to beat your heart. So you asked about me, so I'm going to tell you what I do. And I do intermittent fasting, not because I'm trying to lose weight, but as you said, I have to exercise. It is a prescription from my psychologist, Dr. Doug Lyle, who I have a consult with almost every week, and you can too. It's only $75. I have anxiety. I choose not to take psychiatric medicine. He explained to me that even under the best of circumstances, I am just wired to be anxious, whereas regular people have a good night's sleep and wake up refreshed. I wake up looking for, oh my God, I'm just anxious. I'm from an anxious people, the Jews, it's just the way it is. So the only thing that combats my exercise is regular vigorous exercise. And just walking Bailey isn't enough. It's lovely, as is yoga. That's why we got a spin bike, because I needed to exercise every day, and it was taking too much time to drive to the gym. And so with my schedule, what I have to do in the morning, a lot of times, like today, I didn't finish until 12 o'clock. Some days it's later. So usually I don't eat until, like today I ate at 12. There are days that I eat as early as 11 and days I eat as late as 2. It just depends what's going on. But the thing is, I don't look at the time as much as I look at if I'm hungry. So if I were to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning hungry, I'd eat. But the truth is especially if I don't spin, it could be 2 or 4 o'clock till I get hungry again. So I don't eat until I'm hungry. I don't eat by the clock. I don't eat because, well, my break might not be until this time, or what if I don't get food? If I don't get food, I don't eat. I mean, you do not, unless you're like a diabetic or on some kind of medication, you don't die if you skip a meal. People fast for 42 days at True North, thin people, on water. So if your lunch is late, you're not going to die. People make hunger such an emergency. It is not an emergency. So that said, I do eat 2 distinct meals. I almost never snack, and I do not recommend snacking for anybody that suffers from food addiction or obesity. If you have to snack, you're either eating for emotional reasons or boredom or loneliness or anger or whatever, or you just didn't eat enough food. You know, if you're on a weighing and measuring program or came from a weighing and measuring program, you're going to be hungry because it's not enough food. The worst that happens is if I don't eat enough food, or whatever that is, because there's no right amount of food to eat. If you watch the lecture I did with Dr. Lyle on weighing and measuring your food, if I, quote, don't eat enough food, whatever that means, or if I eat less, or then I'll just get hungrier sooner, and then I'll eat my next meal sooner, so I don't eat by the clock. So generally, first meal could be at 11, 12, or 1. Second meal could be 5, 6, or 7. It depends. My window is usually 8 hours eating, 16 hours fasting. I don't eat the entire 8 hours. That's why people became fat in the first place, because they don't stop eating from the minute they wake up till the minute they go to bed. That said, if you're going to be a person that does that, then you sure better narrow your feeding window, because you'll still get less calories. So what I do is, because I had a question from Vicky that I'm going to use right now to put into your question. She goes, well, you always tell people, shop. So I buy those bags of zucchini, the organic zucchini. It's not 4 pounds, it's 3.75. And I go to Costco and I buy 4 of them. And I go to Trader Joe's and I buy the Murasaki sweet potatoes. They come in 3-pound bags, and I buy 4 of them. And then I buy the purple carrots, and they come in 2-pound bags, and I buy 4 of them. And that food lasts me 8 days. So just doing a little bit of math in my head, I'm averaging 2 pounds of zucchini a day, 1 pound, and I cook it in the air fryer, 1 pound of raw carrots, and about 3 pounds of sweet potatoes a day. It's just, 1.5 pounds a day. That would be breakfast and lunch. That pretty much never changes, and it's really great if you have some. I don't think you have to plan out all 90 meals of the month if you eat 3 meals a day, but it's nice that breakfast and lunch are always automated with me. I don't ever have to think about it. It's just the same. How long does it take me to eat? Well, it depends how it's cooked. So when I steam my zucchini, it takes a lot longer to eat than when I air fry it, which shrinks it down to practically nothing and takes minutes. On the other hand, the carrots that I eat, the pound of purple or yellow carrots, I don't care for the orange ones. By the way, carrots always used to be purple until the 17th century when the Dutch hybridized them. It takes me a half hour to eat those pound of carrots, which are 4 carrots. I cannot eat carrots fast. That's one of the things I like about it is no matter what, I can't eat them fast. They're too big, they're too crunchy. So I don't take a lot of time to eat. It's not that I eat mindlessly, but I got a lot to do. So I don't sit there and just, dilly-dally. I'm always eating breakfast and lunch alone. Dinner I eat with Charles. So
You gotta walk the dog.
you gotta walk the dog. So it's just I eat to live. I don't live to eat anymore. And food is fuel. I happen to think it's delicious. If you saw that sundae I made for Kenny, how could you not think it's delicious? Kenny's raising his hand.
Ellie McCracken asks, how do you bust through the plateaus?
You do intermittent fasting. Which is narrowing the feeding window. You tighten the screws on your program. If you're having any right of the red line foods sneak in, like sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt, you got to stop those. It's a SOFAs-free program. That's one thing to do. You increase your exercise, but I don't like to have people to rely on exercise to maintain or even lose weight. How do you break through a plateau? You wait it out. Shada, one of our most successful people on Ultimate Weight Loss, lost 120 pounds. By the way, she's teaching a Mexican class this Sunday. If you want the information, it's in Orange County. Type it in there, we'll get it for you. She's extraordinary. She had a 7-month plateau. She wasn't losing any pounds, but she was losing inches. So there's a webinar Dr. Lyle did about equilibrium. It's plateaus are equilibrium. You just do. You just keep diligently eating. You sequence your meals. That's how you bust through a plateau. Is you eat the most calorically dilute food first, starting every meal with a huge raw salad of at least a pound. And then follow it up with a pound of steamed greens. And then if you're still hungry, have some starch and a little bit of fruit for dessert. That's how you bust through a plateau. Let me just check on my lasagna. Oh my God, it's almost ready. It looks so good. Any more questions before I get to the last question?
That was pretty much it.
All right, so the last question comes from Wanda, and she wanted to know what I thought about the McDougall webinar on salt and sugar yesterday. And so the gentleman that asked me about what to do instead of salt, that's why I didn't want to answer him, because I knew there was a question coming up about salt, and I didn't want to have to discuss it twice. So I didn't see it yet. I watch every single webinar of Dr. McDougall's at least once, but I can't watch them live because I'm working. But actually I was interviewing Dr. Lyle at that time yesterday. If you haven't seen the interview with Dr. Lyle, please go to YouTube. It's called Healthy Living Live with Dr. Doug Lyle on stress eating, binging, and the environment. One of his best and most succinct talks ever. I've got to say, he did an extraordinary job. And it's the first time we had no glitches with sound or video. We finally figured out what we got to do, which is both of us have to wear headphones, not just me, not just him. Anyway, it's a terrific 58-minute talk. So I didn't see the webinar, but I will watch it. As of 4 o'clock today, the replay hadn't been set out. So I didn't see this particular webinar, so I don't know what he said, but I have seen his other talks, which I believe you can find on YouTube or his website, about salt and sugar being the scapegoat. And so what I think about that is I think that Dr. McDougall is right. I don't think for the majority of people, unless they suffer from food addiction, there's anything wrong with using salt and sugar judiciously the way he recommends. He says they're not health foods. Put a little sugar sprinkled on the oatmeal or a little salt sprinkled on the surface of the food is pleasurable. And for a lot of people, that's fine. But it's sort of like this. You know, what do I think about alcohol? I don't think it's good. I mean, it's linked to, Dr. Greger's just done a series of videos linked to every cancer. Most people I know, it makes them fat, stupid, or both. I've never seen any lives improved or saved by alcohol. But not everybody that drinks is an alcoholic. But if you're an alcoholic, then you probably shouldn't drink. And not everybody that eats salt and sugar is overweight or obese or suffering from food addiction. But if you haven't been able to lose the weight that you want to lose, or more important, are still having cravings, these are things you might not want to include in your diet. So, you know, in his Maximum Weight Loss, he doesn't, well, it's been a while since I read the book, and I just got it on Audible, so I'll listen again, but my understanding is that he really minimizes them or omits them. The problem is sugar and salt, like flour and alcohol, they're chemicals that aren't found in nature in any concentrated form. They fool the brain satiety mechanisms, and for people that are food addicted or suffer from the disease of refined food addiction, these just they stimulate us to eat more food. Salt is a powerful appetite stimulant, and I shared research with you from Dr. Oliveira how it encourages passive overconsumption. You eat something like 11% more calories, especially if you're female, and those calories generally come from fat. The problem with salt is that even though it has no calories, and I completely agree, people reverse their heart disease and diabetes all the time with a little sugar and salt. Occasionally the salt, they still have to go to True North and fast if they can't get it down on the regular McDougall program. Even though the food doesn't have salt, there's salt on the table. But yes, you can absolutely be healthy with sugar and salt. But I don't want people just to be healthy and at a slim weight. I want their brain to be calm and stable. And for those of us that suffer from food addiction, those chemicals, specifically the sugar, flour, salt, and alcohol, they stimulate us so much, the artificial stimulation of dopamine in the brain. Salt actually stimulates dopamine too, not just sugar and flour, that it causes us to have cravings, it causes us to overeat. And the truth is I don't even like salt. I mean, I was raised in a salt-free home. My dad was almost 50 when I was born, already had his first heart attack. My mom didn't cook with salt. My grandparents had heart disease, didn't cook with salt. All my aunts and uncles had heart disease. I was raised without salt, so I don't like it. I don't miss it. First time I ever tasted salt, to my knowledge, was I was 7 years old, and a friend gave me a pretzel rod with the salt on the outside, and I took one bite and I spit it out. I thought it was disgusting. You can have that same reaction to salt if you neuroadapt. The trouble is most people will not go the 30 days required to downregulate those receptors and neuroadapt. But once you, Kenny, did any of the food you eat today, did that need salt? Did any of it need salt? No. I mean, I've only had 2 people I've known. I haven't used salt. I've been a chef for almost 20 years. when I started out, I was using minimal salt. For the last 10 I've only known 2 people that ever add salt to my food. One is Tim, if he's watching, biggest salt addict. He can't eat anything without a ton of salt. And one was a guy that was on a film crew. And for the most part, I pride myself on the fact that my recipes are salt-free and still delicious for the masses. People don't ask for salt when they eat my Chipotle bean burgers or my red lentil chilies. What's interesting is Dr. McDougall's Live-In program, the 3 chefs that teach cooking, Chef Francis Bravo, Katie May, and Kathy Fisher, they're all culinary instructors or chefs at True North, and they don't use any salt. And I mean, Ramses may eat salt in his personal life. I don't think Katie and Kathy do, and they're all lean and mean. So, that's fine. I always say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that ultimate weight loss is generally the last stop on the train. If you can do a more lenient program and get the results you want, do it. And some people can get those results with a little sugar and salt, but they don't necessarily have all their cravings go away. So that's why I would say not to have them. But what's the harm in going 21 days without them, just to see how you feel? And then you'll really know, is it an addiction or not? You seeing something going on over there, Kenny?
Steaming, things going over the edge.
Yeah, it might be dripping a little bit. But that's okay, because this has a drip pan. So to answer the gentleman's question about what you do instead of salt, please consider getting one of my webinars where I go into detail. I show every single salt-free seasoning there is. My very favorite is Benson's Table Tasty. Code AJ, I believe, or Chef AJ for 10% off. That tastes like salt. Using herbs, using flavored vinegars, or using citrus, because the taste buds for sour sit right next to the taste buds for sweet. And the other thing, what is the other thing we talk about? I don't know. Can't think of it now. So if there's time, I forgot. You have more question, because Veronica had a question that I forgot that was related to Vicky's question. She asked if it was triggering for me to go to Follow Your Heart on Monday. So another YouTube I just released today. I interviewed the owners of Follow Your Heart, because they have a new SOS-free menu, sugar-free, oil-free, salt-free, which is being promoted by not only all the local cardiologists. By the way, that's another reason to go salt-free if you have heart disease. I mean, I don't know any cardiologist that I've ever met or interviewed that tells their patients to eat salt once they have heart disease. So this is actually the second time that I know of for a local restaurant launching an SOS-free menu. The first time it didn't work because nobody went. So if you want to have SOS-free food, you guys need to go to Follow Your Heart. It's on Sherman Way, just east of Topanga Canyon. They've got 7 entrees, 3 salads, several soups, very, very delicious. So I did
oldest vegetarian restaurant in Valley.
Right, and so I just released a YouTube today. If you're on my subscribe to YouTube, you will see it. So anyways, the food was delicious, and the food didn't trigger me. But see, the problem is the environment did. And so I didn't go home and binge or overeat or anything like that. But the problem is I couldn't get into the restaurant to eat my compliant food without walking by a lot of what they call comfort food, but I call junk food, like pizza and lasagna and their pastry case of all the stuff I used to eat before I was a healthy vegan. I ate there. It's the oldest restaurants my whole vegan life of 41 years, and I had to see all their cinnamon rolls and blueberry muffins and chocolate chip scones and brownies that I used to eat from that restaurant, and chocolate mousse pie, and so it's like it's like I used this analogy before. It's like a priest in a whorehouse. You don't go there if you're a priest, because it's just too tempting. So I don't like the whole restaurant experience. I used to work at a restaurant. We would have in-services and things like that, for insurance purposes. And did you know that 80% of people that work in restaurants, when surveyed anonymously, say they don't even wash their hands after using the restaurant? It's just, if you're going to get sick, it's going to be from a restaurant. I'm not saying Follow Your Heart is like this. I'm just saying from what I've seen, I just don't trust restaurants in general to not make a mistake, especially with my food sensitivities. I will totally support that restaurant. I'm going there again Saturday night and bringing the entire group of students in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. But in general, I don't want to go to restaurants. The other thing is I had to eat 2 full entrees to feel full, because I eat in accordance with the principles of calorie density. So, they comped my meal because I was doing the live stream. But if I had to pay for my meal there, it was $12.95 an entree. That's $26, and then the salad would $8. That's, I'm so bad at math. $34 plus tax. It would have been $40 just to me to get enough food. Well, you know how many, I could be getting 10. I don't know, I'm so bad
3
at math.
meals.
A lot of zucchini for that is what I'm saying. So for me, restaurant eating is the greatest punishment. It's not enjoyable, but I'm happy now that if my husband Charles wants to go out for our anniversary or his birthday or for any other time, I can get a compliant meal. So if there's no other
Michelle
questions,
says happy anniversary.
thank you. Our Michelle?
Michelle Carpenter.
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks. So, thank you so much for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. If you have a question, please submit it to my website, eatonprocess.com, and why not sign up to be on my mailing list so that you can get some free recipes and find out when to buy my new book. It could be as early as this weekend, and if you buy it the day we ask, you'll get a lot of bonuses, including the audio copy for free. So, oh, we gotta show the brownies. Oh, Kenny, we forgot to show you the brownies. I mean, not the brownies, I keep calling them brownies. The donuts. Donuts, my oh my. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push them out of the little mold. Oh my goodness. So here are the donuts, page 160
In the meantime, you can
of
surprise AJ and
Unprocessed.
join the UWL event
All
in Las
So
Vegas.
there we go. Look at
sign
that.
up now.
So there you go. Don't make any
Wow,
more
it looks like a
promises.
donut.
I know. Don't make any more promises bringing donuts. But if you're going to bring donuts, bring these. There you go. You want to eat one, Kenny?
Should I try that little one?
They're all the same size. So thanks again for watching another episode 71 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I truly believe you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve. Thanks for watching, everyone. Good night.
Good night, 71. That's a wrap.